Hello fam, I hope you are all doing well and welcome back to my channel and welcome to the very first video of 2025. I cannot believe it. We're here. What a year this is going to be. I'm so excited. And I wanted to sit down and do a little chit chat video with you and do what I do at the beginning of every year, which is sit down and plan out my hopes, my goals, and dreams for the upcoming year. I actually have my list here from last year that I wrote down. I always kind of keep it a list of my goals, my New Year's resolutions, in a few different places. One of them is on my phone, and then one of them is like a physical list that I try to keep in a few different places around my home. This one was on my fridge, so I saw it every single day. So there's kind of a few things I like to do to kind of help keep myself accountable. I know a lot of people kind of are pretty critical, I feel like, of New Year's resolutions, and I feel like people who are very critical are people who never keep them, and they always are just like, it's not gonna work, so why even try? But for me, like, I really love having this time to really sit and reflect on the year previously, but also to be able to kind of sit and plan out what I want my upcoming year to look like. Obviously, we have no control of everything that's going to happen, but I like being able to kind of have an idea or a guideline of something that I can do to kind of work towards for the upcoming year to kind of make my life hopefully a little bit better. We're always trying to be a little bit better, a little bit happier, a little bit healthier, all of those things. So that is what we're gonna be working on and talking about today. I have been still kind of sitting down and ironing out all of my New Year's resolutions and all of my goals, hopes, and dreams for the next year. I also have been working on my vision board, which I'll be showing you guys that a little bit later. I just kind of make one on Pinterest, which I think is kind of fun. But I really have been spending a lot of time kind of just sitting and pondering and contemplating and trying to figure out what exactly I want to be working on towards the next year. So I have most of them ironed out. We'll talk about most of my ideas, hopes, and goals. Obviously, there's going to be some things I'm going to try to keep a little bit more private, and that is kind of one of the things I'm kind of trying to work towards a little bit this year, is maybe stepping back from sharing all of my life completely out on the internet, like my relationships and things like that, and maybe trying to maintain a little bit of an aura of mystery. I think that'd be kind of fun to do. That might be something I'm going to kind of think about a little bit more and work towards. But I try to have a couple of big categories when it comes to my goals and my hopes, my dreams. So I have it narrowed down right now to 4 categories. We have spiritual, hobbies, financial, and personal. So everything that I'm going to be talking about today is going to be going into those 4 categories. Let's start off with hobbies, because I feel like those are just kind of a lot of fun. I love to explore and create new hobbies and to kind of find new things that I'm interested in every year. A couple of years ago, I randomly just said, you know what? I want to get scuba certified, and I went and did it, and it was so much fun. So for my hobbies this year, last year I actually had on my list to knit or crochet a blanket, and I never ended up doing that. And so I decided that I thought this year it might be kind of fun for me to try doing that again, maybe sewing a blanket, starting off by sewing a blanket. I've done that before, but I've seen a lot of really fun inspiration on the internet lately of fun blankets to make. I think it'd be really fun to have beautiful quilts for the holiday seasons, like a 4th of July quilt or maybe like a Christmas quilt, and to have that and to be able to pass that on to like my children and my grandchildren. I think that'd be really, really cool. So I'm doing a lot of research on that currently. I've been finding a lot of really cool ideas and patterns and pieces online. So we'll kind of continue brainstorming that, but that is one of the first hobbies that I really want to get into this year, or at least try to do, is to sew a nice quilt. I also want to take ice skating lessons. Ice skating lessons are something that I've always kind of wanted to do. I just want to be able to get around on ice skates and feel very, very comfortable and confident on them, and maybe try to ski backwards. I think that is really fun, is to be able to ice skate backwards. So I actually found a place here in Utah. Utah is home of the 2002 Olympics, and they're going to be having the Olympics again here in 2030. And they have a lot of ice skating, like Olympic ice skating rinks. So I'm going to be taking lessons here hopefully pretty soon. There's a place that I can go to for pretty inexpensive, a couple of sessions over the next couple of months, and hopefully we'll see how that goes. Maybe we'll vlog it, I'm not quite sure, but that's a goal that I'm kind of wanting to maybe work towards, take ice skating lessons. And then I also obviously love to travel. I've been doing a lot of traveling a lot in the last couple of weeks, I feel like, especially, but I want to have a big trip again outside of the country this year. Every single year I've actually, since I've started my international travel, I've been able to go on one international trip at least. This last year I went on a cruise, so we technically were able to go to the Bahamas, which was super cool, but I would love to maybe go and spend a couple of weeks maybe in Europe again. I went to Europe a few years ago. It was amazing. I would love to take my sister with me. She really wants to go, but I've also never been to South America really. I've been to Mexico, but that was again on a cruise. So I would love to do something like that where I'm going out of the country and like really spending time to immerse myself in the culture. I would love to take some friends with me, and also my sister if she is available. I've always wanted to take friends and family on trips because it's just a lot of fun. So that is something that I'm looking forward to doing, is traveling this year. The way of life is so different in so many countries, and just learning about the different cultures and the customs is just something that's really, really cool and very, very inspirational to me. I always come back from these trips and I'm just like, wow, like I learned so much about people's way of living, and I want to like try to implement those ways into my life. I think it's just kind of something fun for me to do. So traveling is definitely on my bucket list for the upcoming year, and going somewhere really neat outside of the country for a couple of weeks, maybe just a week if possible, because I know it's expensive, but I think that'd be really, really, really cool. Another thing that I think would be really fun to do, which I don't know how I'll be able to do it with my current space and situation, but I do want to try to grow a small garden again. Since I have moved and I'm not in the basement, we don't really have a backyard where I live now. We don't really have a yard at all, so it's kind of hard to find space for me to grow any sort of plants. Even in my house, the plants that I do have to be, they don't need to have a lot of light, they don't need to have a lot of attention and care since I'm in a dark basement all the time. So finding a place to do a garden, maybe a community garden, or even trying to find like a windowsill garden of some sort, I think would be really fun, because I really want to get into that. One of my goals and dreams for when I am older and when I'm married and have children is to have like a small little homestead. I would love to have a little piece of property with a big garden on it and be able to grow a lot of my own fruits and vegetables and a lot of my own food, actually. But I need to get started in that now and start working on it, you know, learning skills like that and cultivating my green thumb, if you will. So I want to get working on that. In the last couple of years, I was able to have a little bit of a garden in my old place, but again, that is no longer an option for me. So I need to figure out where I can do that, how to, you know, grow a garden in a small space. Maybe that means I need to move once my lease is up here in the summer. I'm not quite sure, but we'll see what happens there. I just would love to have something where I can grow, and I always feel like it's so therapeutic and so healthy for me when I'm able to like actually go out and grow something and touch dirt and touch greenery. It really does make me feel a little bit better. So that's something that I'm also trying to work towards, having a better mental health aspect of my life, and I think that gardening would help a little bit. And the final two things I have underneath my hobby section is one, to declutter. I don't know if I really need to put that in my hobby section, but I do want to have a big decluttering session throughout my home a couple of times throughout the year. I feel like I always like keep things because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna keep it, one day I'll use it, and I never do. So I really need to do a really big decluttering session. I actually have a couple of ideas already. Like I want to do actually go through my phone and like declutter a lot of like my music, because I have a lot of stuff in here where it's duplicated, or I just have a lot of songs that I added when I added an entire album that I never listened to, and it takes up space on my phone, and I would love to just find the actual like songs I like to listen to and not have to go through all the mumbo jumbo. So that's one thing, is decluttering like my phone, decluttering my clothing, going through things that I just don't wear that I keep because I think I'm going to, or they're nostalgic or somebody gave to me. I need to just get over it. If I'm not wearing it, throw it away. Not throw it away, but donate it. I also have a ton of books. I want to declutter my book collection a little bit. I don't need all of these. If I don't like the book, I can, you know, again, donate it. Also going through a lot of my home decor. I still have Christmas up right now, but I do have a lot of stuff that I didn't even use this year for my Christmas decorations that I could probably donate, or other holidays. I would love to kind of just go through and declutter a little bit of that as well, so I have a little bit more space, and I just don't need all this stuff. I really don't need all this stuff. So that's kind of one thing I've been thinking about, is decluttering, how to kind of make a more minimalist approach to living, if I can even call it minimalist. I don't think I would consider it myself that, but finding a way to kind of just only have the things that I want and need and not have to worry about all the extra stuff. That kind of transitions into my financial goals, which I only have a couple of them. I have a few like numbers in mind that I like want to grow my savings to. Obviously, I want to make sure that I'm continually like preparing for the future in case of emergency happens. But also when it comes to decluttering, I want to really work on thrifting over buying new pieces. I've been really inspired by doing that lately, especially with my books. I only buy my books thrifted for the most part. Occasionally, if it's a book that I really want, or I'm reading it for a video, sometimes I'll go and buy it brand new. But I would love to find just ways for me to thrift more, especially my clothing. I spend a lot of money on clothing, and I like going thrifting. I like finding those little gems, those pieces. So finding ways to thrift more over buying new, especially also with home decor and like different items. Facebook Marketplace has so many great things and treasures on there that you can find if you just are willing to be patient and search for things. And so that's something I'm really wanting to try to implement in this new year, is to really focus on like, if I need to purchase something, do I have to purchase it new, or can I find it used somewhere for a cheaper price and be able to repurpose it and reuse something that somebody else doesn't need anymore. So I think that'd be kind of a fun way to implement being a little bit more sustainable, but also decluttering in a way and just reusing things in my home. Moving on to my personal goals. Now here there's so many random things I feel like that I can put in this category. I have a lot of really random personal goals, which is why I'm kind of still narrowing this down and figuring out what exactly I want to try to focus on throughout the whole year. But one of the big goals that we have is to grow my YouTube channel. This last year, I wanted to grow my YouTube channel to 5,000 subscribers. We got really close. We didn't quite hit 5,000, but I also feel like I kind of went through a pretty big filming slump over the last couple of months. It's been really hard. Just kind of when I was in a relationship and then also being out of the relationship, it was like, okay, like I had no time, and then I didn't have any desire or motivation to do it. So I feel like I could have probably reached that goal if I tried a little bit harder. So this year what I want to do is grow my YouTube channel to 10,000 subscribers if possible. That means that we need like 5,400 at this point to subscribe. So please subscribe if you have not yet already. I would love to really work on my content and make it better, make it more fun, make it more exciting, make it more interesting to watch, and really narrow down my niche. I kind of have been going a little bit all over the place. I feel like I've been doing a lot of vloggy, like lifestyle stuff, but I've also been trying to implement a lot of my reading and my book content in here. Whenever I thrift as well, I always get a lot of good response to those videos. So I'm kind of all over the place currently in my niche and the categories and topics I've been filming about. So trying to figure out my niche a little bit more, growing my YouTube channel to 10,000 subscribers is something that I'm really excited about. And the other thing here in my personal goal, which this is something that is not always necessarily in my control, and I can't always, I'm not the one in charge of this. I really believe that God is really in charge of this, but is to be in a relationship. If you watch my previous video where I got out of a relationship, I was so sad and so upset, and I'm now a little bit, definitely a lot happier, and I'm looking forward to being in a relationship with somebody who loves me, and I can be in a very, very healthy relationship and have somebody that I can just have a lot of fun with, meet my best friend. I would love to be in a healthy, happy relationship. So that's something that we're manifesting, and something that I'm kind of doing to help myself, try to reach that goal is definitely be dating. I have been going on a lot of dates lately, which has been a lot of fun, but I also want to try to make a goal of going on at least one date a month, which I usually am able to do. So we're gonna try to really work on that goal, go out on one date a month. I needed to stop saying no to people if I don't know them at all. I just need to just go out with them if it's brand new. I guess if you have a bad feeling about somebody, then I'm not gonna go on a date with them. But I do say no to a lot of people just because I kind of inherently am like, oh, I'm not interested. But do I really know if I'm not interested? Not necessarily if you don't know them. So I need to stop saying no to dates. So those are my personal goals. And my last category that I have is my spiritual goals. I am religious, and my church does have temples that we can go to and attend at any time. So I live really close to one, which has been awesome for me. So I'm gonna try to go to the temple 2 times a month, at least 2 times a month. I'm also trying to become a temple worker, like be able to work in the temple. It's a volunteer thing. I'm on the wait list for it currently. So eventually, hopefully, I'll be able to become a temple worker later this year, but I do want to try to attend just for my own self twice a month. And then I also want to establish a regular routine of scripture study and prayer. I had that on my list last year as well, and I feel like I go through phases where I'm really, really good at it, and then I'm really, really bad at it. So I'd love to kind of get into a phase where I'm just doing it all the time. I'm reading my scriptures and praying regularly, and I think that'd be something that would really help me, especially with my faith and building my testimony as well. So those are it. Those are the 4 categories that we have for my goals for the year. I also have other things kind of on I have a physical list right here that I kind of just been dotting things down. So I have things like reading more church books over regular books, things like that, where it's not necessarily goals I need to have, but I just need to kind of try to implement and prioritize those a little bit more. I also wanted to share my vision board for this year. Like I said, I just kind of make a Pinterest board every year and kind of look at my goals that I have and start pinning and adding things that kind of represent those goals. So I do want to kind of go over that with you to kind of show off my hopes and dreams for the next year. So this is my vision board that we have. I have it's a little bit all over the place, but we have things like this picture right here is the very first one, is manifesting a relationship. We have YouTube and content. We have vacations, vacationing with somebody potentially, romantically. We'll see if that even happens. I have healthy eating on here, travel. I have, a lot of healthy eating, healthy habits. Again, more travel. We have Bible study on here. A lot of things to kind of help with scripture study and just spirituality in ways. I have a quilt on here to help me remind myself that I want to learn how to sew and sew a quilt, a good quilt. I have more quilting things on here. A lot of thrifting stuff is really fun. I like to have those on here as well as my ice skating, reading, traveling, again, more vlogging, a minimalist kind of aesthetic like we have here to help me remind myself that I don't need as many things. And then I like to add in quotes and I like to add in, you know, yeah, this like healthy relationship bubble. And I love this quote right here. My heart starts rushing when I remember the timing he has chosen for me is greater than anything I could come up with on my own. That one I really need to sit and remember and ponder and reflect on during this time, because I have all these goals and God is in charge. I believe that God's in charge. And I think that he wants me to reach a lot of these goals, which I do think I can reach them if I am just consistent and I continue to work on them every single month. But obviously God is in charge. Things could happen that could really deter a lot of these things or could throw a wrench in my plans. And so I am needing to remind myself that the timing that he has for me is a lot better than the timing that I have for myself. It's divine and it is for me, and it's going to make me the happiest and healthiest I can be. So that is a good reminder there. So I just kind of always add fun things. Let's maybe add 1 or 2 more things on here. We can click more ideas if we want on here. See if we can find like a really good pin. We'll just say this: a lot can happen in a year. That's a really great reminder. I think back to like just a couple of months ago where I was then and where I am now. I am in a totally different space. I have different friends. I have a lot of experiences that I was able to experience over the last couple of months that I didn't ever think was going to happen to me. And that's a really, really fun thing to think about, that like a lot can happen in a year and a lot will happen in a year. And it will be really exciting to see where I'm at the end of this year compared to where I started. Rolling a little bit. Christ-centered relationship is always worth the wait. We will do that as well. Let's see if we can find something. I love this photo of somebody walking. I definitely want to get more into that and really be working on my health again. Oh, and the yoga. Let's pin the yoga because I want to get back into that. Alrighty, that is my vision board for the year. Throughout the year, I actually go and always am like updating it. So we'll see what this ends up being at the end of the year. That is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this and you got some inspiration. Make sure you guys let me know in the comment section down below what your resolutions are for this upcoming year, and I will see you all in my next video very, very soon. Bye.